Alright everyone, we start off today with some very funny Vermont news. I had talked about it briefly the other day, but this one is really great. Link in the description, not archived this time, it's just a video clip from local news talking about this particular very interesting incident and how you can circumvent what would normally be considered the law or regulations simply by being inventive. It's the tale of Ted Pelkey. Let's read a little bit of this verbatim. Long story short, for those of you that have less time, he's literally giving the town of Westford, Vermont, the middle finger. And I do mean literally, like on a 16-foot pole, actually. Let's read through a little bit of this. I find this hysterical. Vermonters are great ship posters. We can be quite inventive. Just look at the Green Mountain Boys if you don't believe me. Westford, 6 months after Ted Pelkey gave his town the middle finger over a local zoning dispute, the Westford man says he won't retire the famous statue even if he wins this case in court. I would never take it down now, Pelkey said. It's awesome. By the way, I agree. This sounds like the sort of person that I would have tea with. Pelkey's middle finger, a 6-foot sculpture, although I believe it's technically 7, made of pine, went up in December to send a clear message of displeasure at Westford town officials. It was a viral sensation and received attention from national media outlets including CNN and the Boston Globe. Yeah, who cares about them? He's been trying to move his business, Ted's Truck and Trailer Repair, from Swanton to his property in Westford. It's commercially zoned, by the way. Keep this in mind. It's meaningful. But the town of Westford hasn't approved the permits needed to do so. Pelkey said after erecting the sculpture he assumed he'd be required to take it down, but since it isn't advertising anything, it doesn't fall under the state's anti-billboard laws. Instead, it's considered public art. I fucking love this, and by the way, if you look at that video clip again in the description, he's practically glowing with glee over the fact that this is a thing in the state of Vermont. I felt that it would be a violation of the town's zoning regulations, but it doesn't fall under that. They can't touch it, he said. Pelkey and his wife Michelle had asked the town for permits to build an 8,000 square foot garage structure and 13,500 square foot gravel drive. He said that moving his business would eliminate his commute to work, and since it would be on his own property, eliminate the need to pay rent. So he's trying to save money, move his business, do the thing, and they're cock-blocking him for years at a time. The Westford Development Review Board ruled Pelkey did not meet the zoning regulations necessary for approval. The case is currently pending before a judge in the Environmental Division of Vermont Superior Court, and a decision is expected in the near future. The Pelkeys are represented by Burlington attorney Brian Monahan, who I believe I've actually heard of before. I'm not exactly sure where. Anyway, yeah, Vermonters are really great and inventive at shitposting. I keep bringing up that old study from years and years ago. I think this might have been 10 years ago at this point. I'm getting old. I'm losing my memory. I'm turning into Joe Biden. That Vermonters actually were, per capita at least, like represented the most in hate speech online, which really means trolling and shit like that. You know, harassing people randomly, little stuff like that. Yeah, it didn't surprise me at all. Vermonters can be a little bit uncouth. We can be a little bit edgy and raw. Once you get to know us, if you're being friendly, you're not going to have any problems in this state. Trust me, we are the most tourist-friendly place you could possibly friggin' imagine outside of maybe parts of Amsterdam. That being said, we're also very good at screwing with the powers that be. This is inventive. He didn't even know originally that this would fall outside of zoning ordinances at all, so he just decided to literally give the middle finger to the town of Westford, and apparently won't take it down even if they grant his regulatory approval to move his business, which I think is funny. Oh man, you couldn't get any better. A situation if you're Mr. Pelkey, actually, and of course I support him. Because he's in a situation where if they grant it, he moves his business, and he's got this giant middle finger next to it, and that's just going to be a beacon for people that are, upset with the state government of Vermont, or maybe the town in general, the municipal area. He'll make money hand over fist, actually, even after having to move the fucking business. It makes sense. You own property, it's commercially zoned, you want to put a business up on it, what's the fucking problem? And by the way, dragging the environmental protection people from Vermont into it reminds me of Slate Ridge a little bit. You'll remember that story when Slate Ridge was shut down by the authorities, and that's not actually far from here. It's to the northwest of Rutland, I believe. They had like a training area, and they were shooting guns and doing, gun stuff, survivalistic training and things like that. And they couldn't go after them for noise complaints. They couldn't go after them for firearm-related complaints. They couldn't go after them on several trumped-up instances where there might have been antagonism between the people that were running Slate Ridge, and I believe that the owner has actually left the state, and some of the neighbors. They couldn't do anything about it. So what did they do? They used the environmental courts and said, well, you've erected structures here and they're not properly licensed, so you need to take them down, and effectively shuttered the business entirely, which makes no sense. You've got structures to train in for urban warfare, basically. It's on your own property. Nobody's literally residing in them or anything like that for the most part. Really, the state of Vermont tries to use legalism as much as possible, but one man found a way to completely skirt the legalism and literally give them the fucking middle finger. And so to you, Mr. Pelkey, I salute you as a fellow Vermonter, because this is fucking hilarious. If I weren't so far away, I'd probably just buzz up to Westford just to see the friggin' middle finger monument, because it's just so fucking funny. That's about all. Peace out.